You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include animal extinction, ecological collapse, climate disaster, apocalypse, vast bodies of water, hunting and predation, caves, death, blood, fantasy violence, complex relationships, monsters and monstrosity, grief, storms, romance, and references to suffocation. Arc 4, Episode 9, I Do Not Weep. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Notes on Fauna. Entry 011. Kaseki has always been an incredibly biodiverse planet, full of flora and fauna that does not live anywhere else in the Apis Fuyumi system. One such species is the brackish cave skipper. This fine specimen is one of only 3 amphibious megagobies that we know of, though it is easily the rarest and most endangered of its cousins. Even before the drought, the brackish cave skipper was an elusive species, making its oxygenated burrows deep within air pockets in oceanic cave systems. Despite its reclusive nature, its important role in the biosphere cannot be overstated. First off, its sensitivity to environmental changes makes it a key bioindicator species for the overall health of its local environs. Second, it is a crucial ecosystem engineer. Its burrows provide shelter for other, smaller organisms within that oft-overlooked but vital intertidal zone, a transitional environment where land and water meet. Third, the brackish cave skipper is an apex predator. It controls prey populations and balances the ecosystem, keeping the natural rhythms of its biome in check. Fourth, as a personal note from the author, I strongly believe that the cave skipper, like all of the animals of Kaseki, big and small, possesses a rich internal and external life that deserves to be understood. From the very moment of its hatching, the cave skipper participates in a highly complex social structure alongside hundreds of newly spawned siblings, most of whom will never reach maturity. The lucky few that do have been purportedly observed to forge lifelong bonds between siblings of the same clutch and with various mates from other clutches. The brackish cave skipper demonstrates a rich communications, as characterized by their unique echolocative vocalizations that vary from individual to individual, granting each skipper its own voice of sorts. Researchers from the prestigious Hane Institute of Marine Sciences have even documented a rich emotional capacity. Cave skippers have reliably demonstrated complex traits like empathy, playfulness, boredom, grudge-bearing behavior, and even grief and sorrow. Despite leading a solitary existence as adults, fully grown cave skippers have been observed to gather in large numbers after the death of a former clutchmate. Within this swarm, cave skippers participate in a richly layered group vocalization that can last for hours and even days in what can best be described as a morning song. It does not escape the author that the brackish cave skipper, along with other amphibious megagobies of Kaseki, was one of the first species to go extinct in the wake of the drought. At least, according to the research of the time, there is a slender possibility that cave skippers might still exist, but they would have to be deep underground, in what little remains of the planet's oceans. And there would have to be more than one of them. After all, despite their fierce independence upon maturity, brackish cave skippers are ultimately, at their very core, a creature that yearns to belong. Within the dark, and the blood, and the echoing ghost of Xainan Esch's bullet, the monster of Hane Bay faces the end of all things, and crumbles into dust. Scale by scale, fin by fin, the pale body of this once majestic beast peels away from itself. Moist flesh atomizes into desiccated grains. The rail-thin skin of its sail shudders like a white flag in a dying wind as it ripples into emptiness. The last part of it to go is its head. The whiskers still quivering, the jaw limp and pained, the eyeless eyes gazing up at the face of its killer until all of it decays into nothing. Xainan and Seir, you stand at the edge of this underground puddle, this brackish pit, this shallow grave, staring at the disturbed saltwater silt where the animal once lay. Yinghe is the first to react. Desperate, sad, cloaked in shadows and denial, they slide down the side of the pit and crumple to their knees in the water, frantically scooping at the sediment and now spreading through what little moisture remains. No. Damn it! It didn't want to hurt us! It didn't want to hurt us! Why did you do that? Why did you do that, Xainan?
Everything. And he starts to speak, and he lists and tries to catch his weight, but his left leg is bleeding heavily, and he has been staring down into the dust, almost numb to Yinghe's presence in it. And when he finally speaks, there is still that viciousness, but not pointed at her. Everything here will try and kill us if we let it.
There was another way. We could have grabbed our things. We could have gone. I don't understand. We didn't have to. This didn't have to happen. And they sink the tips of their fingers into the silt and the dust and the seawater. Bending over, their hair pooling in black spools around their knees.
Seir is speechless. All that he sees is the dust and silt that has melded away with what little salt water is left in this little pond, really. The only shard of ocean left in this place. And as Seir watches, you can see that their hands are caked in black dust and silt and mud from where that creature was, from that moment where they stared at its eyeless eyes in its final moments, a final witness as Doom's Herald. And a new red wire blooms past Seir's cranium. Past the skull and down to one of his furthermost antlers and dangles down, frayed and torn. Another thread he heralded, another doom he witnessed. And as he stares at this place, Seir's between places right now. He stares at a middle distance, but all he can think about is Xainan's eyes. all he can think about was viciousness. Unwrought, unchecked violence. You told me not long ago to find my edges. Where are your edges? Do they even exist? When will your gun, your barrel, when would it be trained on something else that causes you fear? When will it be trained on me? Where are your edges? And that is all Seir can think about as he lifts his gaze up and looks at Xainan, the glint, the sharpness, the brightness in his eyes dulled as he's trying to find the man he knows in that monster wearing a duster in front of him.
The sad truth is, Seir, the man that you look at, this monster, who claims monster against something that, if Yinghu is right, was never going to hurt us. He looks down in the hole past your beloved, into the same ruin, but he's not looking for forgiveness. There is no mercy there. He is already moving forward. He is thinking not about the people around him, not even about the injury on his leg that is continuing to pool down his pants, over his boots, and into the dirt. No. He's surveying. Because every time Xainan has gotten a kill, he has tried to make something of it. The sad truth is, Seir, those edges that you thought were there were all an illusion created by someone who lived in a space that expected them of him. They were learned. And he's forgotten them. Anything down there that's useful?
No, it's just dust. It's just gone now. All of that for nothing.
There's nothing left.
Fuck!
Xainan, why did you do it? The real why?
This planet has always had large creatures, large predators. My whole life before leaving, before this, and he looks around at the empty cave that all he can see around it is the dust, the suffocating dust, the dust that hates him. The fury burns in his eyes. I fought creatures like this since I was a boy. It might not have been here to kill us today, but everything here is hungry. It's a damn shame we can't eat it.
Just because we're scared of something, it doesn't give us the right to just kill it, to get rid of it, like it's just some obstacle in our way. We could have run, Xainan. I was trying to get us to run.
I had to take action, I'm sorry. We have to do things that we're not going to like to stay alive here.
I get that, and I can see how hard it must be to survive. I lived it back on Zhiguang. But this, and they scoop their hands up, covered in brackish silt and dust. You didn't even kill it right, Xainan. It suffered. And you! And Yinghe turns to Seir with a look of hurt sorrow on their face. You saw it, didn't you? How it was in pain at the last moment. You're both hunters. Why couldn't you have ended it faster, ended it mercifully?
Seir is stunned silent. When Yinghe brings up Zheguang, he thinks about the titles that Yinghe and he himself holds. How we two were perceived, and Seir is stuck in that moment in his nightmare, feeling Artemis's arrow through his skull, and all he can think about in this moment is not even at the failure that they had in ending this creature's life before. It is still that deer watching the headlights of a car, deer watching the barrel of the gun trained against its head, wondering when the bullet will make impact. All Seir can think about is how far does he need to go before Xainan pulls the trigger on him. And when Yinghe questions them, Seir snaps back. I don't know. I felt the song and Nila, we cannot dwell here. We cannot dwell here.
You think it, Seir, but Yinghe says it out loud, turns those silver moonlit eyes onto Xainan and demands. You say that Kazaki is full of predators, is full of these monsters. I was a monster. I was literally the monster of Yun'an. Would you have put me down like that too?
No.
Well, what makes me so different from them?
And as the questioning and the air begins to kind of fill him again, he listens. And his blood begins to calm. And the weight begins to sit on him. He remembers the suffering. In the moment, he could hear his Ema counting bullets, thinking about how every shot is precious, but Ta's right. He let it suffer. He was not a good luck tender. He was a different part of himself that he also knows is merciless and can be cruel. And to see it reflected back in his eyes and the people he loves. And to hear a tone that he would recognize in any of the journey. Grief.
Seir,
His chest gets heavy.
I think as you look, Xainan, at this reflection in the people you care about, what is a question in Yinghe's eyes that escapes his lips is a concluded answer in Seir's eyes. He knows you can. He knows you will. He's just trying to find out the how and the when. What would it take? I know you could. And we see Seir stand up and shudder. This piercing electrical pain that seizes him as soon as he stands to his full height. We cannot We cannot dwell here.
Seir, your tail. Xainan, your leg. Oh, we have to patch them both up, and I'm still really upset about this. And I would like us to keep talking about this, please, because And Yinghe stops mid-sentence, freezing, rooted to the spot, half sunken in this silty, brackish water. And then they say, very still, her shadow. Lumièra, it's back. And we cut to Lumièra, in the dust. Howling blades of wind billow and surge around you. Desiccated grains of dust whip in a cyclone. Every breath you take here feels like you're breathing in broken glass. Every step you take feels like you're bracing yourself against a tsunami tide of pure torrential air. You did just vault back to your present, but you are not where you should be. What feeling threatens to overwhelm you, just as the storm does?
Pain. Pain all throughout. Every whip of wind feels like little knife cuts. Every breath she takes is hindered and racking. It feels like her entire throat is filled with sand, like a timepiece, and it just silts and drains down and sits in her stomach. She's trying to make out exactly where she's at. She's exhausted like she's never felt exhausted before. Every single molecule of her body feels like it's been ripped apart and put back together just a little bit differently than it was before. And every step, her knees start to give out, but she braces herself because she can't stay here just to get to some place with some cover. Try to see if she can make out where Nova is, if they're even anywhere near close to her. So she steels herself. She perseveres. She survives. That's what she has always done. It's what she always will do. She's had great teachers.
And that's when you hear the familiar voices drifting over this howling wind, coming toward you as you try to orient yourself in its direction. We rewind 15 minutes into the past to find Xainan and Seir. Yinghe scrambling now out of the pit, their eyes wide, frantic. I feel her. She's back. I can sense her shadow.
We have to
We
go.
gotta get
Where?
everything.
Where? Up? Above?
Yeah, out. Just grab everything we can. We have to go now. I think she's out there.
Shit.
Xainan's eyes go straight for the water that he had spent last night trying to purify. His mind snapping back to the most urgent thing, thinking not only of the anger in their eyes, the frustration, the grief, but also echoing back to an 11-year-old girl who looked at him with those same frustrated eyes. And he remembers what he did for her and what he was doing for them last night, the thing that kept him grounded, the water, life. And he goes looking for it, hoping that in the chaos it survived.
Okay, Xainan. I need you to make me a quick survival check to see if you were even successful in the first place to desalinate this water. No situational advantage, no assistance, but you could be harnessing a relevant tool or power here.
I think last night when he was setting it up, he ended up needing to use some just like basic, almost like to weld pieces of it together to get it to stay, and then to put a weight in the center, he used a little bit of his molten creation.
Okay, that sounds good. So that is going to be 2d20 total.
Let's go.
Tell me how many successes you get.
1.
Perfect. So you were able to successfully desalinate the water, but I need you to make me just a fortune roll to see if this water was preserved in the fight. That's just 1d20. If it is an 11 or above, that is a failure. We're looking for a 10 and below.
Okay. It's a 7.
Okay, yes. So part of the desalination station has been trampled over, but the fruits of your labor are intact in improvised water bottles or water sachets that you were able to store them in. So you're able to scoop these up quickly, carry them with you as you, Seir, and Yinghe pile out of this cave. Exiting Hane Cove is an exercise in resilience and, quite literally, in throwing caution to the wind. So, Xainan, as you follow the rest of your team out, what is the emotion that empowers you as you're scooping the water bottles up close to your body, close to your equipment?
There is a steadiness to this, to holding something so safe that it feels like home. Not just because the act came from home, something that he used to have to do all of the time on the Lodestar setting during his long life in the dust, but also that it was something that he did that reminded him of his ma, something that she would have done in their kitchen had she had to live in the dust. It was an act of love, like cooking, like tucking your loved ones in at night. It is something that he can do, and it reminds him that's what he was doing for Nova, because they are his home. And there is a grounding feeling as the grief does come in. He's not sorry. He's trying to figure out how to be sorry for what caused Yinghe to feel so upset at him, but what he does feel sorrow for, an apology that he can't say yet, is that he would carve himself apart and make 1,000 new boundaries to make sure Nova was okay. And he holds the water tight.
Last night, while preparing this water as a gesture of love for the people you love that are still here, you've always, but especially then, you had felt them, your ghosts, always in the shadow of where you step, a footprint within a footprint, hovering there, guiding you, keeping you in rhythm with yourself. Those ghostly presences now gone. Ever since the first bullet hit the creature, gone. And now, as you navigate through these twisting corridors, though you are flanked on one end by Yinghe and the other by Seir, those are the only bodies that accompany you, for no ghosts whisper near you, no spirits guide your hand. The last they were there was last night and in your nightmare. They're not here with you anymore, dispelled by the loud crack of your bullet. And now, the three of you can hear it. The storm. A licentious screaming in the distance, a throat-tearing howl of some great and careless beast. You can feel it, too, even deep within these twisting corridors, blades of wind slashing down these tunnels, gashing at your exposed skin, your clothes, your hair, and by the time you can see the entrance, the howling has gotten so loud you can barely hear your own heart pounding in your throat, your own breath heaving in and out of your lungs. Beyond the mouth of Hane Cove, you see nothing but wind. Would you like to make any last preparations before stepping foot into the storm?
Xainan doesn't let anyone even choose not to. He goes up to both of them and he is, grabbing at the parts of their clothing. Put this over your mouth. And while he is doing this, he is also somewhat doing it to himself, and his hand lands on that respirator. The one that he took from the Apani Kestrel. His heart sinks again, but he knows he can hear Dom's cough, that chesty cough that he'll never forget. And he puts it over his mouth. The glowing tube begins to pulse as he breathes, and he makes sure the other two get ready.
As you help Seir cover his mouth and nose with a piece of his clothing, Seir freezes for a moment, like a child, like a little boy waiting for a parent, a mentor, an authority figure to take care of them. He watches you, these boyish eyes, as you spend seconds in that care. And all Seir wants to do is to lean into it. All Seir wants to do is lean his cheek against your touch, to know that, to feel that everything is okay, that everything can be okay, but he feels that something roiling within you, a little tempest that he cannot touch. And he doesn't lean into that. All he thinks about is what to do when that tempest roils out of you again. And the only answer Seir has is he needs to be faster than you, Xainan. Whatever choice you make in the future, I must be faster than you. I must be faster than your worst instincts. And what Seir will do to prepare is, as his tail shudders with pain, every time Seir moves or walks, his tail moves as well, and that hurts him. So he takes the tail and tucks it close to his bandolier and tightens it, just so that the tail wouldn't move as much and hurt him, so that he can still move. Lumièra needs him. Lumièra needs us. And I can't show up with a broken tail.
I think seeing you do that, Xainan finally remembers, because he's been so just heightened by the adrenaline, the fear, all of it, that he should probably bind up that gaping wound, and he just takes a piece of the many layers of fabric on his personage and just ties it loosely around. It will never be a sufficient bandage. It will not be sanitary. He can hear Lumièra scoffing at how unsanitary it is, even though she is not here. And it hurts. But in order to find her, he would have to walk through every single searing pain in it. And he looks to you, Seir, watching you bind this up, longing for that more innocent look between the two of us that we used to have, that he can see is different. But he takes the pain, just like he does with his leg, and fusses. That hasn't changed.
Yinghe tears free a long strip of fabric, coils it up in one hand, and passes it down, first to Seir and then to Xainan, as they say, "I don't want to lose any of your shadows out in that storm either. We stay connected, okay?
Okay.
Smart.
All right. And Yinghe lifts a piece of fabric up, covers their mouth and nose, nods at the two of you, then bows their head against the storm and forges in. The three of you wade out of the mouth of the cove. You bend your heads against the screaming gale, and you step into Hane Bay. As soon as you leave the shelter of the cave, it's like you've entered the heart of a tornado. The wind is so strong, it's a miracle you're still standing. At any moment, it feels like you could be picked up by a powerful gale, tossed into the air and blown halfway across the planet. You see nothing but dust in front of you, whipping strands of dust, shrieking vortices of dust, endless, rapacious, hungry dust. And even though Yinghe is within arm's reach of both of you, and they are shouting at the top of their lungs, their voice sounds like it's 1,000 miles away. This way! I can feel it! She's still here! Nova, what feeling slams into you as you collect your strength and forge onward?
Terror. There is something resonating deep inside of Xainan Esch that he can hear in this whipping wind that he's heard every night since it started here on Keseki. And standing in it, the thing that he has run from, even when he dreams about it, that loneliness of being absent of ghosts. He is so alone in this moment until he feels that fabric in his hand, tethered to Yinghe, tethered to Seir, looking for Lumièra, a constellation trying to form again, and that fear is grounded again in Nova. But he is barely hanging on as he just grips it like a fearful child, going into the storm with the hope buoyed by just trust at this point that Yinghe is gonna find her.
The first thing Seir feels is a existential and perceptual fear. One that they still do not understand, that they still do not know is a perceptual fear. All they know is that every bone in their body wishes to ignite in consciousness and leave him. To turn around, to go back where? Who the fuck knows? But away from here. But the thing that keeps Seir pushing forward is Lumièra. Out here in this vortex is Lumièra. Somewhere in the storm is Lumièra. Right by his side is his beloved Yinghe and his mentor Xainan. And he tightens his fists around each of their fabric, feeling the tension against his palm. I think it almost threatens to like burn the inside of his palm red as he keeps pushing forward through the wind and the dust. And all Seir can think about is that she's here. Mira is here and she needs us, and I have to keep going. I don't care if my bones shatter upon this dust. I don't care if I crumble. I will find her. And Seir keeps pushing forward, Yinghe leading him as he screams from behind the bound fabric around his face. Mira! Mira!
Lumièra! Lumièra! Can you hear us? Lumièra! And then, the three of you see it. A blurry silhouette in the near distance? Or is it far? It is so hard to coordinate yourself in space in this howling gale where there is nothing to measure distance against. But you see it, the silhouette. And that silhouette is unmistakably her. Each of you could recognize Lumièra from 1,000 miles away, from another dimension, from a dream, from beyond the grave. It's her. How do you call out as soon as your eyes fall upon her physical form?
The only thing Seir's heart calls to her ever since they were children. Mira. A nickname, a pet name, forged out of love and care. A pet name that only he uses, that only he utters. And it falls out of his lips like a call to prayer, like devotion.
And what about you, Xainan?
Xainan hasn't been yelling, partly because of the fear of what that air intake of dust would bring. He's learned to not yell in the dust over time. When it hurts, when he's scared, he just keeps his mouth shut and breathes nice and steady, the way they teach scuba divers when they dive deep on controlled air. But what he does do, despite all of that training, is he gasps. Because the dust does something in this moment that it's never done for him before, which is give someone back. And he sees her, and there is hope. There is light. A daughter brought back from the dust seems impossible.
Lumièra. In the distance, or is it close by? You hear your own voice being called, and you see rising out of the dust 3 figures. 3 very, very familiar figures calling to you, forging through howling dust and wind and apocalypse to find you. It's Nova. They're here.
And every step burns at this time. She's unsteady on her feet, still determined to make it through this dust. And she stops when she hears it, because she hears a lot of things in this wind. She can't really trust what she hears now. So it stops her in her tracks, and you can tell it's like her silhouette leans forward as if she's trying to peer through this downpour. And she gets ready to yell back before she just starts coughing. Hard, racking coughs that just rattle her lungs and all of her insides, and she doubles over. Still not moving, just seized in racking, painful coughs. And you see her wipe her face a bit and pull up her mask as she continues walking through the storm. She's not sure it's you.
Yinghe staggers forward, running now, pulling on this thread connecting the rest of Nova toward Lumièra, calling with every step of the way, Lumièra! Lumièra, it's us! Lumièra! Lumièra! As she stumbles forward, closing the gap with this renewed energy. And soon, the four of you are close. You're within several arms' lengths of each other. So Seir and Xainan, how do you surge forward in this moment and help Lumièra realize that it's you?
Seir rushes forward at the same pace as Yinghe, pulling Xainan like a dog on a leash, just surging forward. And we just hear it fall out of his mouth. Mira. Come, look at me. And I will slide onto the ground so that she can see that it's me, that I'm real, that we're all here. Hey.
A stumbling step behind, feeling the wet of blood beginning to pool even through what he wrapped over his leg. He takes a deep breath in, pulls the cloth over his face, and quickly swaps out his respirator and holds it low. You just see a lavender hand, calloused, holding an orange respirator towards your face. He doesn't shove it there, but he just puts it right next to your face. He has dreamed of having such a tool 1,000 times when stuck in this situation, and he needs you. All he can do is give you what you need.
Lumièra sees the respirator and finally looks up and sees her team, her family. She wasn't sure that she even vaulted herself back to the point where she needed to be. She couldn't recognize anything, so she figured she had vaulted into another spot. And when she sees that, she sees your hand, Xainan, she reaches out for the respirator and starts to say something before it's that dry, dusty, racking cough again. Every time she tries to open her mouth to speak, it's more and more of that dust comes up and lodges in her throat. And she just grabs the respirator. Her hands are clammy and shaking, very unsteady on her feet. And she'll look up into Seir's eyes, those beautiful blue eyes, and collapses.
I got you. Shit. Scared me.
You're okay, Lumièra. We're here. She's breathing, right? She's still breathing? Oh, good. Lumièra, what happened? Where did you go?
She shakes in and out. Her eyelids are fluttering. And she, after more coughs, is able to utter one thing. The past. And she's out again.
Mira?
Xainan was looking around in the dust, just keeping his head on a swivel, his goggles kind of cutting back some of the buffering wind. But he hears this. and stops, stock still. If he had been breathing at all, he forgets how. Chronergy. The past.
All Seir can think about is fear, pain, terror. Every single time Seir has watched or learned of Lumièra's chronergy, it elicits one or two feelings: wonder or abject horror and fear. Of the cost, of the pain, of the golden-tipped fingers, of gray hair and silver hair where they weren't before. And I think feeling you like collapsed against like all of us, Seir kind of like holds your weight steady. He goes, she's exhausted. She's exhausted. And will pull out his like grappling hook and climbing gear and start wrapping her around like he usually does and tie her secure to himself. It's okay. It's okay.
When you tie Lumièra closer to your person, her entire body is vibrating. It feels like there's just a bunch of different molecules that are all bouncing and boiling off of each other at the exact same time. Her skin, even though it feels cold and clammy, is hot to the touch. Like she's burning a fever.
You are in shock. And that is the conclusion that Seir comes to. This is a person who has been put through an extreme condition. And Seir tightens you against him. You are now basically like placed exactly against his chest, your head right against his shoulder as he tightens you there so that he can keep moving with you and see you. And as he tightens it and pulls the grappling hook taut against his waist, he goes, I got you. I got you. His hand like rests on top of your shoulder, feeling you shudder. And this is the fear, the real human fear that sits in Seir. The real existential fear. The idea of losing any one of you. And it feels so real when he feels you shudder against him in this storm.
There is also fear in Yinghe's eyes when those two words drop from Lumièra's lips. But the fear quickly is shadowed underneath the present mortal concern of surviving, as Lumièra is strapped to Seir's chest, and Yinghe turns to face the three of you, shouting to be heard, though their mouth is mere inches away from each of your faces. We have to get back to the cave, or find some sort of shelter somewhere. We have to go.
Yeah, we can't stay here.
We can't stay.
Fuck. Strike to Nova. The four of you are finally reunited, but your battle has only just begun. Because you are in the most dangerous place imaginable. In the heart of a dust storm, on a dying planet, with no one and nothing but yourselves to help you. You need to find shelter, and you need to find it fast, or the dust will shrive clean the very flesh from your bones. So, as the wind picks up and the storm rages on, the four of you turn your attention to one thing and one thing only. Survival. And we're gonna go to break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far. Strike Team Nova is finally reunited, which I'm so excited about. We will be back in just about 10 minutes for the back half of this stream, which will be the last Chaos stream we have before we take a winter hiatus until we come back in the new year. But stay tuned for the end of the stream for more announcements about programming we'll have in the meantime. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back in 10 minutes. See you soon. Howdy, Transplanerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today. Hello, Transplanerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together.